The War Report.
As foundational Black Americans here in Philadelphia, we can't just stay focused on what's happening on our block and ignore the bigger forces shaping our lives. The global economy has a direct impact on the local economy, and what happens overseas often shows up right here at home. Recent developments out of Washington show the current administration's tariff and trade policies are part of a broader effort to reshape U.S. economic relationships and exert pressure on other countries. A major change in how the U.S. is handling international relationships that points to a real shift in who the U.S. wants to do business with and where the future opportunities may be headed. For the FBA community, this matters because when global alliances change, so does the flow of money, investment, and power as new trade and technology partnerships form. Especially around AI and advanced industries, we need to stay alert to how those changes affect jobs, fairness, and our ability to build real wealth. The mission stays the same. We don't want to just watch the economy change around us. We want to position ourselves to own part of it. Philly, the budget fight in Washington is getting serious, and it could hit federal workers right here in our city. President Trump has said he won't approve funding for TSA and Department of Homeland Security employees unless lawmakers back the controversial Save America Voter ID and Citizenship bill. While Senate leaders sort through the situation, thousands of federal workers are being caught in the middle of a political power struggle. For foundational Black Americans in Philadelphia, this hits on two levels. First, federal jobs have long been a source of stability for our community, so any disruption to those paychecks can ripple through our households and the local economy. Second, voter ID and citizenship laws often raise new barriers for our people at the ballot box. At the same time, we have to stay focused on the bigger picture, protecting our economic future, building in new industries, and positioning ourselves for the rise of AI. That kind of progress is hard to make when our livelihoods and civil rights are being used as negotiating tools. As this plays out, the main concern is making sure Black families in Philly are not the ones left carrying the cost of a political standoff in Washington. In Philadelphia, we know that real progress starts with safety and justice. There exists a history of racially motivated murders against foundational Black Americans, including the 2023 mass shooting in Jacksonville, Florida, where Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law demanded immediate accountability. The attack was called a hate crime rooted in white supremacist beliefs and made it clear that we need more than sympathy. We need real systemic action to protect Black American lives. That is why there should be serious support for a foundational Black American hate crimes bill. This matters right here at home because we cannot build wealth, stability, or power without physical security first. As Black Philadelphians push for greater access to the city's growing tech and AI economy, our civil rights have to keep pace with our economic goals. We cannot fully step into the future if our basic right to live safely in our own neighborhoods is still under threat. Protecting our community from hate today is part of securing our place in tomorrow's high-tech economy. The goal is to build a city and a country where foundational Black Americans are both safe and successful. The internet providers we rely on every day in Philadelphia are doing more than giving us access to the web. They're studying us. A recent FTC report shows that major internet service providers are tracking customers by race to shape the ads they see, and that's a form of digital redlining. For Philadelphia's foundational Black American community, this is a real threat to economic mobility. When companies use our data this way, they can control what opportunities show up in front of us online. That can mean fewer high-paying jobs, fewer fair housing options, and fewer quality credit offers, while predatory products and services are pushed toward our neighborhoods. This kind of profiling also feeds the next wave of AI and tech tools. If biased data keeps flowing into those systems, the technology of tomorrow could keep repeating the same exclusion in a more automated way. If we want to protect FBA wealth and secure a real future in Philly's tech economy, we have to push for strong data privacy and reject algorithmic exploitation. Our identity should never be treated like a marker that limits our potential. The fight for justice is now happening in the digital space too. In Philadelphia, we know that real progress starts with safety and justice. In the wake of the racially motivated mass shooting in Jacksonville, Florida, the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law is demanding immediate accountability. Damon Hewitt called the attack a hate crime rooted in white supremacist beliefs and made it clear that we need more than sympathy. We need real systemic action to protect Black American lives. That is why there should be serious support for a foundational Black American hate crime bill. This matters right here at home because we cannot build wealth, stability, or power without physical security first. As Black Philadelphians push for greater access to the city's growing tech and AI economy, our civil rights have to keep pace with our economic goals. We cannot fully step into the future if our basic right to live safely in our own neighborhoods is still under threat. Protecting our community from hate today is part of securing our place in tomorrow's high-tech economy. The goal is to build a city and a country where foundational Black Americans are both safe and successful. What's happening in Arkansas should be a warning sign for every Black family in this country, including ours here in Philly. In Little Rock, students in the NAACP are taking the state to federal court over the Learns Act. They are challenging a law that claims to ban indoctrination, but in practice, many educators say it gives the state too much room to censor Black history and shut down honest conversations about systemic racism. For Black people in Philadelphia, this is bigger than a courtroom fight. It is about what kind of future our children will inherit. Education is the bedrock of economic justice, and as we enter an era shaped by AI and new technology, our young people need the full truth about how this country was built so they can move with power and purpose. We cannot afford to raise a generation that is blocked from the truth while being asked to compete for the wealth of the future. Honest education is not optional. It is the starting point for everything we are trying to build. Right here in Philadelphia, we know the ballot is one of the strongest tools we have, but it has been under pressure for more than a decade. Since the Supreme Court's Shelby County v. Holder decision stripped away key protections from the Voting Rights Act, the guardrails that once blocked discriminatory election laws have been weakened. That opened the door for policies that can make it harder for Black voters to fully protect their political power. For foundational Black Americans, this is not just about politics, it is about economic survival, community investment, and having a real seat at the table in a world being reshaped by AI and new technology. If our votes do not translate into accountability, then our leverage is being wasted. We need leadership that is obligated to deliver on reparations, fair investment in our neighborhoods, and access to the emerging tech economy. Protecting the vote is about more than winning an election. It is about making sure the next generation of FBAs in Philadelphia has the legal power and economic power to thrive in the 21st century. Restoring those protections is a necessary step toward securing our future. There is a significant shift happening in Pennsylvania politics that foundational Black American FBA voters in Philadelphia should keep an eye on. Senator John Fetterman has seen a historic collapse in his approval ratings, dropping a staggering 108 points in just 3 years. Analysts are now comparing his standing to the sinking of the Titanic. For foundational Black Americans, FBA here in Philly, these numbers are about more than just a poll. They represent a question of trust and consistent representation. Whether we are advocating for reparations for foundational Black Americans, economic equality, or pushing for a fair share of the emerging AI and tech economy, we need leadership that remains steady and accountable to the people who put them in office. As the political landscape continues to change, it is a reminder that our community's support is earned through results and reliability, not just a party label. Looking ahead, the focus remains on ensuring that the next wave of innovation and policy truly serves the long-term interests of our neighborhood. The Philadelphia Reparations Task Force brings together a strong team of experts across education, economic justice, legal advocacy, urban planning, law and policy, and Black history. But for foundational Black Americans, it is important to do more than just observe this process. It is incumbent upon us to vet these efforts carefully to make sure lineage-based reparations remain centered and that the work truly reflects the interests of the people it is meant to serve. It is also important for FBAs to get involved directly by volunteering, showing up, and helping shape the process. If reparations are going to have real meaning, our community has to participate, stay informed, and make sure our voices are present at every level. For more information, visit the website at www.phlccouncil.com/reparations.